Yo, what's up, man? We just here for the comments. About to go ahead and talk about this Joe Rogan experience and Katt Williams, man. Seems like a very, very interesting conversation. I like listening to Joe Rogan sometimes with some of the conversations and stuff that he has is pretty interesting. And I guess they were, Katt Williams, man, talk about speaking it into existence. He definitely said, Joe Rogan wouldn't be interested in talking to me. He never invited me to the show, whatnot. And then Joe Rogan said, you know what? I am inviting him to the show. So everybody's seeing the fire that Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe had on Club Shay Shay. And now Katt Williams is just on fire. I mean, he's always been on fire, but not in a social media sense. And right now he's everywhere. He's on tour. Him and Monique, they're on tour. And everybody just wants to have a conversation with Katt Williams. He really didn't do a lot of interviews before, per se. But now, I mean, he has the whole comedic game in an uproar. Everybody wants a piece of Katt Williams. So what I'm going to do is, if I can pull it up, every time you try to do a video, man, that's when the internet just wants to act stupid, right? The internet wants to act stupid. You're trying to do a video, you're trying to go to YouTube, and all of a sudden the internet just acts all jacked up. You know what I mean? It be stuff like that, man, that just pisses me off. So let me go ahead and try to pull up this video. I watched the whole video. It was like 3 hours worth of video. And it was really that good. I like videos where I can just sit back and listen. And, hear people talk about some interesting things. But as you know, we are just here for the comments. So we're not going to be watching the video because, for one, we will get all type of copyright strikes. This is Joe Rogan we're talking about. But let's look at some of these comments, man. One comment here, it says, "Why are you ignoring what's written on the walls?" Is right there. And yeah, so during this conversation, Katt Williams is saying a lot of things that, in his opinion, is factual. And, Joe Rogan is saying a lot of, what ifs and that would be. And Katt Williams is saying, no, sir, this is real. Is this weed talk, Joseph? Is it really the narcotics talking? Are we talking under the influence? Are we talking about some real things that are happening in history? Are we really talking about things that are historically accurate, or are we just pulling things, from out of nowhere, right? Katt Williams make a lot of good points. Let's see. Katt made the most eye contact with Jamie than any guest in history. Shows you how special of a guy he is. Yeah, yo, man, Katt Williams is the type of guy who his tone, his body language, humor, comedic timing is amazing, but at the same time, he's really genuine about what he's saying. You can just sense it, it's like there's no cap in the rap. He's really telling you exactly how he feels, but he can do it in such a way where you can get a chuckle, a laugh, gander, all that good stuff. And his vocabulary is so prestige, man. I mean, he gets vocabulary. He doesn't go over, like Katt Williams, he does it in a way where it's oh my God, I'm about to say pause, but it's easier to swallow. Pause. But when T.I. does all these, big words, pause again. Oh Lord, I am just flagrant fouling all over the place. But when T.I. does it, I mean, he just goes way over your head, pause. Oh my God. Hey yo, I couldn't be on camera on them show, bro. It'd be just catastrophe. Let's read this comment. People don't understand. Katt's career has never faded or disappeared through his highs and very lows. Media try to portray as if he's exceptionally intelligent. These people would have gotten rid of him like they did so many others a decade ago. He's unlocked information and know how to move the chess pieces. This convo reminds me why I am such a fan of both these guys as human beings. high IQ gentlemen, bouncing ideas and facts off one another. Even if two people had nothing in common, if a conversation like this is held, both parties walk away gaining knowledge and in turn respect for each other. This is how we heal our planet and make division disappear. Through talk comes, it's more to read to this. Sorry. Through talk comes more understanding, and through understanding comes love and respect. Holla. Absolutely true. Joe Rogan and Katt Williams could not be more different. Opposite ends of the spectrum. Two different individuals from different backgrounds, from different histories, from different upbringings, what have you. But there's a lot of common things that you learn over time that you can bounce off of each other and come to agree to disagree, or come to an agreement, or come to a disagreement. And seeing both of them talk and hearing, because a lot of things, Katt Williams remind me of Dave Chappelle in a sense where they will say truths within the comedy. The only way you can digest the truth is sometimes through comedy. Sometimes we need those things to be able to digest something where somebody, may say something to you in a serious tone and you may not get it. But if you put the medicine in the food, then sometimes it's a lot easier for you to get that person to take it, So, yeah, I like that comment. Really cool. The fact that Katt is talking about the Anunnakis. Yeah, I cannot say that word. Anunnakis. Oh, y'all gonna have to help me in the comments. Made me stay tuned to the whole podcast. Amazing, man. I can listen to him all day, honestly. Yes, Katt Williams does have a very, very good voice, mic control. Him and Joe Rogan. I mean, when you listen to somebody, especially like on Joe Rogan's podcast, the thing is not like an interview. It's really just having a conversation. Hey, we're having a conversation about this particular topic. This is what we're talking about. We're going to chop it up. There is no cut. Like, I'm not with all the cutting and editing. When you see me on these videos, I want you just to hear me. There is no fast cutting this, and that. There's no edits. I mean, it is what it is. This is how we're going to go from here. And I like that. I mean, you can listen to these gentlemen talk, and they're having a good time doing it. Let's see. Katt Williams is very intelligent man. The calmness and seconds he takes before answering his questions shows that this man is something special. Exactly. And with him being a comedian, his timing is phenomenal. So this is a gentleman who knows about timing, knows about pauses, knows how to build up before the great reveal. Before the great reveal. Me, I'm usually a wild kind of guy, so I don't really have the pauses and all that type of stuff, but maybe I might need to practice that. You guys tell me in the comments, right? That's what we're here for. We're here for the comments. Katt is a prime example of taking your time to think before you speak, analyze the question, process it, deliver an answer with a well thoughtful response. Very true. Great job of Joe just letting Katt talk about stuff they both interested in instead of trying to drum up drama crap. One of the best podcasts ever. Yeah, now I do like that, because now there was a couple of times I wish Joe Rogan would have just let Katt Williams keep talking, which he did for the most part. He did. But there were a couple of key moments Katt was about to say something, and Joe Rogan, he goes on and on. And also Katt did that to Joe as well. But yes, like, this is not about drama. This is about a human experience. They're talking about the world. And the thing about Joe Rogan podcast, which is phenomenal, to your point, is that we're talking about things that we normally wouldn't have conversations about. We're talking about the universe. We're talking about history. We're talking about artifacts, ancient artifacts. We're talking about religion. We're talking about God. We're talking about creation. We're talking about everything that entails in being in a human experience and what we grow through and what we take from that. What have we learned from that? One of the biggest things that they talked about in this episode is about information. Information is an important key component to any and everything that we do in society, which is real. And I learned a lot of things watching this podcast, which is amazing. You know, I was just like, wow, you know, looking at it from this perspective, looking at it from that perspective. So kudos to you, man. That is a very, very good point. It's not about drama. It's not about, not once did Joe Rogan bring up any of the low points in Katt Williams' career that I can remember. He just wanted to learn about Katt Williams' information based on his experiences and what his belief system is based on. What are your conspiracies? What do you think about this? How do you think they came up with this? Where do you think they're going in the future? How are they going to be doing this with technology, AI, cars, computer enhancements, implanted chips, all these things? These are things that you may talk about. This barbershop talk in a sense, but this is the nerdy barbershop talk when you're talking about governments and you're talking about ancient civilizations, things like that, right? So yeah, for sure. Once you find out that the world is a circle, you can never get lost. And basically that's something that Katt Williams said. Katt Williams had a lot of quotables in this podcast. A lot of quotables, which is true. If it is a big circle, and you know that, okay, well, if you keep going this way, eventually you're going to be able to find out where you're going. I do believe that. And there's nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's always answers out. And that's another thing, man. They talked about so many things. Because even as myself, as an individual who has questions or had questions when it comes to God, when it comes to creation, when it comes to a lot of things, they touched on so many dope key points that just blew me away. If you haven't watched this podcast, man, you're doing yourself a disservice. Definitely check out this podcast, man. In all honesty, I believe, in my own personal opinion, the Club Shay Shay had a lot of wow factor. We haven't seen Katt in a long time. He's coming out just saying all these things and just blowing you all away. It was the shock factor. But far as a wholesome, I took a lot more away from. Because the things he was saying about Steve Harvey and all them guys, I've heard those things before. The things they were talking about in this podcast, it was like, I got a lot of food for thought. Let's say it like that. I got a lot of food for thought. Is no one going to comment on how fucking awesome it is to have Joe back on YouTube so we can comment the episodes? This is one of my all-time favorite episodes, for real. It felt like it was going back to the roots of conspiracy theory, Joe Rogan. I think the current times is starting to reveal a lot of what these conspiracy theories were trying to warn us about all these years. Now, I haven't watched a whole lot of Joe Rogan. I've seen a lot of clips, but as far as the actual episodes, so the fact that this was on here and it came out of nowhere, I had no idea, it just popped up on my thing. I loved it. Like, it's to the point now as I'm getting older, I draw a lot, right? Everything that you see behind me is my artwork. I make all this stuff. I'll probably have the links in the bio. But when I'm drawing, I like to listen to things. And it's sometimes really hard for me to find things that I'm interested in listening to. So when this came up, this was absolutely phenomenal for me to listen. 3 hours, just beautiful listening, where I can just listen. I can hear information. I can hear back and forth, conversing. You know, the only reason why I haven't done any podcasts like that with another individual is because I don't want to rely on people for my YouTube to work. You know, so, and plus, I could talk to myself all day long. It's not a problem for me. I mean, it just is what it is. So if somebody want to listen, hey, we can get it popping, you know. But yeah, to be able to hear that for 3 hours and they're talking about all type of topics and subjects and things like that, man, absolutely phenomenal. But the reason why I do this YouTube channel that may turn into a podcast is because I love listening. I like the comments. I want to hear what the people have to say about the information that's being put out there, because these are coming from real people, hopefully, if they're not bots. But, you know, as you can see, a lot of people in here, it's coming from real people. So I like to see what the people have to say. Let's see. Katt Williams' interview voice is so calm and soothing. Who else went to sleep listening to the long interview and then woke up to rewind the interview? No, I definitely can say that was me. When I was initially listening to the podcast, I was drawing, and then I had to go to my car, and then when I went to my car, I had to run some errands. So while I was driving, I was still listening to the podcast while I was fighting off traffic and people who cannot drive on the highway. So no, sir, I was not one of those individuals that went to sleep and had to rewind the interview. Thank you, sir. No, I'm just like, no, that wasn't me, man. That didn't happen to me. But I have done that with some episodes of podcasts in the past where I fell asleep, and I just listen to it till I fall asleep. TikTok will take you down a rabbit hole. If you do not know, if you're ever on TikTok at nighttime, the most scariest hocus pocus stuff will pop up on you in the middle of the night. And right now it is 2:12 a.m. while I'm doing this video, and I have to be up by 9 o'clock in the morning, but I am making sure that every day I have to shoot a video. This is Joe Rogan. We stand. Talking about ancient artifacts, myths, and all that juicy stuff. Katt Williams brings such intriguing vibes, and it's totally captivating. Such a lit episode. 100%, man. I think when you start talking about ancient artifacts and myths, whether you're talking about your Bigfoots, or you're talking about Slender Man, or you're talking about, what do you call those things? Oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. What do you call those things, man? It's in the dark. It's in the woods. The real skinny things. It's supposed to be real scary. What are those things? Y'all will say it in the comments, man. I cannot think of. It starts with an S. Why the heck? Oh my gosh, I cannot think of the word right now. But when you're talking about these things and these mysteries and things, it's always captivating. It's good, man, because you just don't know. You want to talk about aliens, Area 51, and all these things, ghosts, or whatever the heck it is. It's so interesting. I've seen so many crazy things. Other people have crazy stories. And for us to all come together and talk about these experiences is just amazing. Let's see. Let me see what other comments we have on here, man. This has so many layers, it needs to be listened to a few times. Amazing episode. Katt has 3 meanings for every one thing he says. Yeah, he does. And the thing is, like, you have a lot of different perspectives. You can look at things in a lot of different perspectives, right? I mean, you have the philosophical perspective, you have the spiritual perspective, you have the humanity perspective, you have the nature perspective, you have the political perspective, you have the comedic perspective. You have a lot of different ways you can look at things, and Katt is very, very elegant, and he is very forthcoming in the way that he provides that perspective, right? So that you can have a different intake or a different outlook on the things that he's saying. So it's like a conundrum, or it's like a double tundra, where you can say one thing that has 2 or 3 different meanings of it at the same time, depending on how you say it. So yeah, Katt he's amazing with that. This is deep. The mental gymnastics in this one is astonishing. Both are very well read. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And there's a couple of things that I was like, wow, I didn't know about that. I never heard of this or that or whatnot. And a lot of things I did, I'm like, wow, yeah, I know about that. I heard about that. So to hear them talking about it's like, wow, they are really up on their game. I swear Katt is so intelligent in the deepest sense. His thoughts are so profound. I love his perspective. Yeah, man. Shout out to Katt Williams, man. He's definitely doing his thing. I couldn't believe he brought up Thoth and Hermes Trismegistus. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, once again, they had some things, a lot of things that I knew what they were talking about. Then there was some other things about like the Green Book and all that, and I was like, whoa, I might have to check this out, because for a person like me who's always asked questions and things like that, there are answers out there, and I feel bad that there's some things that I haven't researched enough to find those answers. And with Katt Williams, a lot of things that he said, him and Joe Rogan talked about, was information. If the information is there, it is your job to find those answers, but those answers may not be that hard to find that you think that they are. They're there. So, when you hear other people mention certain things that may have information to the questions that you may have, yeah, man, it may be, fantastic to go ahead and check that out. So I gotta rewatch it again and see about that green book they were talking about, because that's definitely something I want to look into. What an absolute gent, knowledgeable, humble, and one of the few guests to constantly look over to Jamie to connect with and include him during this conversation. Now, like I said before, I haven't watched a lot of Joe Rogan episodes. Whoever this Jamie is that everybody's referring to, yeah, I did see Katt Williams make eye contact with everybody. I mean, they say Katt Williams is a very generous person. Once again, very forthcoming, an individual who will take out the time to talk to you, to introduce himself. He looks out for a lot of people and don't ask for anything in return. It doesn't broadcast the things that he does, which me, I don't have a problem with if you do. I think we need to highlight more of the positive things more so than the negative things, so we can have the influence of positive things to go ahead and do it, just like we already get the influences for the negative things. But the more you know how little you know. Woof, Katt, keep dropping those gems. Yes, 100%. I agree. The more you know, the more you find out in life, the more you realize you do not know. And that's the eureka moment. That is the aha. That is the wow. Okay, so there's more to this than I thought. But you're still in that journey of learning. But as more as you learn, you come to find out, I don't know everything, and that's okay. It's sometimes not the end goal that you're getting to. It's the journey. And within that journey, it's everlasting knowledge, everlasting searching for it, your everlasting learning. You're always going to be a child in a sense. To you, you may believe you're grown. And a lot of times it's necessarily because you think that, I have responsibilities, I pay bills, I work a job, I do this, and that, I raise children. But that doesn't necessarily make you grown in the sense of the universe, in the sense of the world, when you don't even use all the mechanisms or the power from your brain. There's a lot of key components that we just don't use. There's a lot of things we don't understand about our own human nature, our own human bodies, when it comes to dreams, when it comes to just human nature in itself. There's a lot of things that we just still haven't figured out, not only about ourselves, but about our environments. Only a few percentage of the world has been discovered when it comes to water, certain things in the Amazon, a lot of things in past history that we do not know, or as gatekeepers to the information that is out there, But once you understand those things and have knowledge of self and understanding, then you understand that you have a long way to go. Definitely a long way to go. Katt reading so damn much, he's going to turn into that guy from the Twilight Zone. One thing I did find out about Katt Williams is, whether you want to believe he read 3,000 books or not, the man has read a lot of books. And I used to read a lot of books when I was a child, but it was a lot of fiction. Katt Williams is coming from the perspective of nonfiction. He comes from the perspective and the background of a very religious background from his childhood and his family. And from what he says, he wanted to learn about all different religions and not just read about them, but actually go to these areas and talk to these people to see how they lived. Why do they think the way they think? What are their ideologies? Where is their future? What was their past? And all these things. And what he's coming to find out is that we have a lot of similarities. A lot. Let me tell y'all something that I just figured out, okay? A little sideline here. This is something that I just found out, and it just came to me. It's just something that popped in my head literally like 2 days ago, because now, so it'd be 2 days ago, right? Look at the names of different, what we would call races of people, from African American, Caucasian. When it comes to Chinese, Vietnamese, or Japanese, you could say Asian. You have Indian. You have German, Russian, Hawaiian, Canadian. We all end in N. And I'm like, and I'm sitting back and I'm like, American. Because at the end of the day, we are all human. And I think we forget that sometimes. We're all human. We are all living this experience on Earth as, in my opinion, the greatest creation on this planet. You are 100% blessed out of this world to be a human being. The way that we have control over pretty much all the life forms here. And as a collective, the most dangerous, knowledgeable thing on this planet that we know of. Because we live in our own world and our own reality. But being a human and living in this human experience is definitely a blessing. Whether you want to believe that or not, I am 100% in agreement with Joe Rogan and Katt Williams that I am grateful. I am grateful to be here. It is an honor, a privilege to be here. Let's see what else it says. I can't believe I'm watching Katt with Joe. This is a moment in history. Thank you, Joe. 100%. Thank you to Joe. Thank you for Katt Williams. Katt Williams is a fan of Joe Rogan and wanted to be on the show. And Joe is a fan of Katt Williams and was happy to have Katt on the show. You can tell Joe is enjoying the conversation. Katt even had him thinking at times, yeah, they're really deep into this conversation. This wasn't like one of those dry, like they were, soon as it started, they were in. They were going in. They were locked in. And, Joe loves the conspiracy stuff. Katt Williams definitely does because he talks about a lot of this stuff in his comedy. It seeps through in the comedy a lot. And sometimes I think it go over some people's heads, but it's there. It's always there. Now when I look back, when I look at Pimp Chronicles and all that stuff, it's always been there. Katt Williams has not changed at all. I think we're all just catching up to what he's been throwing all this time. I love Katt. He's definitely a wordsmith. Yeah, after watching Katt Williams, I definitely was like, I need to sharpen my vocabulary. I definitely need to pick up a few new words. Definitely. Two comedians having the deepest conversation I've ever heard. I was unprepared. Yes, get your ears ready if you haven't checked out this podcast. The more you know, or we already talked about that. Let's see what a couple more comments has said. Joe has had a lot of great interview, and this is a lot of great positive response. Matter of fact, let me see 1 second here. They are at, oh my gosh, and one day they did 6,418,926. Man, in one day. Joe has had a lot of great interviews, but this one is way up there. Katt touched on everything I've been learning for the last 18 years. Emerald tablets, Knights Templar, frequency, hollow moon, everything. Facts. Me too. And there's a lot of things they touched on that I had no idea about. So I'm definitely going to be like doing my research and stuff. I'm not trying to turn this into a conspiracy channel. I just like hearing the comments for all type of things, but I'm definitely looking into that stuff. Two legends in their own right, having a real convo, priceless. Katt talks like he's making stuff up as he goes, but everything he says is straight facts. Exactly. There is a certain suave, there's a certain sarcasm from Katt Williams when he says these things. He says it like, hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm telling you this. If you want to believe it or not, you can believe it or not. But what I'm saying is, if you want me to shut up from what I'm saying, that's cool. But when you open your mind up to it, you won't be able to shut me off. It's kind of in that realm. It's like, sure, you could be ignorant to it, but once you know, you can't unlearn what you learn. Once you know, there's no way to turn it off. And Katt has a way of saying it that is just, it's just brilliant. Katt wants to say so much more, but he can't. So he smiles and laughs before finishing. The new term is weed talk. Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was so many times. He said it was like, his 47th time getting canceled on the show because of the things that they were talking about. And he was just like, because you already know, man, once again, the main thing is information. And once that information gets out there, once you talk about these things, now you're going to have eyeballs on you. You're going to have a magnifying glass on you, like, okay, this person has influence. Millions of people are watching this. What are they talking about? And are they saying too much? When it comes to the Baphomet, when it comes to the Illuminati, when it comes to the conspiracies, when it comes to the rituals, man, they talked about a whole bunch of stuff. I was even telling my little brother on the phone, man. Shout out DJ Watson. I was talking to him. I was telling him all these things that I know. He's just like, yo, whoa, because I don't really talk to a lot of people about this stuff because it goes over people's heads and they look at you like you're crazy. So a lot of times I just keep it to myself. I don't smoke weed, so I can't have that as an alibi. I got to say it was lack of sleep since I am recording this at 2:27 a.m. I got to say it's a lack of sleep because I'm not going to be able to use that alibi. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So I'm going to have to say I'm crazy or sleepy, I didn't realize how much I agree with Katt on these theories. He'd be fascinating to talk to. Great interview. Katt is so studied that it's difficult for him to explain his points to others. He's pulling so much information that's stored in his head from information he's come across, piecing it all together. So a lot of the information has become intuitive for him. He can't take the time to break everything down because the conversation will become exhausting. So it's one of those if you know kind of things. 100%. They touched on so many topics. From cars getting controlled to certain individuals breaking out information, getting killed and assassinated, to books really explaining everything from the past and to the future, to the mark of the beast, to the Illuminati, to water and the fluoride, to space, to heaven and earth, Adam and Eve, to actual historical landmarks that were in the Bible and is explained in detail. To everything. They touched on so many things, and you can tell he's very well versed in all of these things because one who searches for knowledge of these things will know. I can tell you so much stuff about meaningless, useless information when it comes to Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, video games, Dragon Ball Z, all these things that I'm just infatuated with that's not even real. He has that same type of knowledge about things that are real stuff, especially Joe. I mean, Joe, if you know Joe, you know Joe. He knows a lot of this stuff too. Let's see. I got a couple more. I got one more minute. Finally, a celebrity that endorses reading. Facts. Like watching Katt warm up to Joe. Also feel like the stupid question about the menthol cigarettes really created a vibe. Can never go wrong with the stupid question. Hey, always ask questions. I preach that 100%. There's no dumb question. At one point in time, we all didn't know the questions that we know. It's one of the best episodes yet. This week was a killer, starting with Brett to Dr. Phil to this. And yeah, Katt's interview is almost at 7 million. Wow. I'm truly convinced Katt is an alien. Yeah, man. They even talked about a lot of things that happened in Egypt. Sometimes I wonder, hey, are we really the aliens that's here on this planet? Because we are the only thing that does not naturally fit and is, cohesive with the planet naturally. Like the bees are and the hummingbirds and the cows and the plants, and we're the only thing that just not naturally know its place, know what it's supposed to do, and does not veer off from the path. Everything else is within the ecosystem and it understands what it's supposed to do. Us as human beings just do whatever the heck we want to do. We're not in agreement. We're not in compliance. We got questions. We have, prejudices. We have our own agendas, greed, lust, addictions. We all over the place, But I'm going to end that. This has been, I think, about 30 minutes or so. But yeah, man, you got something, man. Oh my God, I didn't even realize my eyes were so red. It's definitely time to go ahead and get some sleep. But I appreciate you guys watching this, and if you enjoyed this, This has been another I'm just here for the comments. And you can put in the comments what you thought if you watched this episode. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description so you can go ahead and check it out. And I will be talking to you guys a little bit later. And thank you if you listened and watched this 34 minutes and 30-something seconds of video. I'll talk to y'all soon. If there's any other videos that y'all want me to look into or anything like that, please let me know when it comes to looking at the comments. Because I'm here for the comments, man. That's what I'm here for. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.